Hey guys, welcome back to the Musings of Maverick channel, where I'm your host Maverick, and today we're going to be looking at Tensura episode 16. I just got back from my vacation in Japan, feeling a bit tired, but hey, we got animes to watch. So, last episode, we finally made Rimuru form his own nation, and so now they are a player in the world map. They've placed their flag, they're getting alliances, they're getting noticed by other kingdoms as well, presumably, as well as demon lords and maybe any other figures of authority, if you will. So, it's going to be very interesting from now on forward to see how Rimuru can help shape the world. Some words of disclaimer: I am feeling a bit sore in the throat right now, but I got my trusty water, so hopefully everything will be okay and the audio would still be okay to listen to. So, without further ado, let us jump into the episode. And begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Yay. Dude. A gift? Oh, hey. Wasn't he exiled though? Or excommunicated or something? Well, anyways, we'll find out right after the opening. And we are back. Yeah, you exiled him. And then... Did you go find him and then brought him here? Okay. So all the exiled characters are coming back. I guess that's why they had to make him a misunderstood character in the beginning. So they could set up this... where he does something to redeem himself. I don't think you needed to come here personally, you know? Oh wait, he's already here? Okay. Oh wait, so you guys are here as well? Oh, really? Okay. Oh. So he named him again? You can do that? Okay. Dragon newts. They don't seem too different, bro. Wait, what? Wait, who are they? What? What? That is... okay. No, I'm not gonna complain, you know, but I just felt like that was way too ridiculous a change. I'm guessing this episode is consolidating a lot of information from the various chapters of the light novel. So it's basically like a summary. No, don't say that. That's just a flag. Alright. So is this girl Milim? Okay. So these guys are the demon lords? Her voice sounds so familiar. Ooh. Not bad. So now we're going to see the power level of a true demon lord. Since I was told by a lot of people that Orc Disaster isn't actually a demon lord. Is that ambition? Okay, dragon eye. Silver? Oh, that's supposed to be silver? Alright. I came to fight. Aren't you guys being a little bit too hasty? I assume these guys know who she is. Okay. But I mean, she wasn't exact. Well, maybe she was here to fight, but. Ooh, 10 times. Wow. So this is the true power of a demon lord. Okay. No wonder all those other guys weren't that... They weren't that phased when they saw Rimuru. What's he gonna use? What? Don't tell me like that's food or something. Just honey? Oh my god. That was a nice read of character. That's it? That was the title of this episode. Is that why you became a demon lord? Let her join you? Master of Diplomacy Rimuru. And the other guys are just like, what in the world? Ah, he was asking for it. She's pouting now. A tyrant? Alright. Wait, what? Don't you have like your own territory and stuff? You're gonna say something. Oh my god, this is so funny. What in the world? Wait, what are those other slimes? You can get milk from dandelions. Dandelion milk. Wait, they have a constitution? So if they get into some internal conflicts, they'll also be part of it. Hmm.
魔王ミリムの勢力が一気に増すことになり、魔王たちのパワーバランスが崩れる。
なるほど。
Hmm.
しかし、実際にですぞ、魔王ミリム様を止めようとしても無理でしょう。
あれは別次元の強さだった。リムル様がいなければ、俺たちは今頃生きてはいない。その通りだ。他の魔王が敵対するというのなら、そいつらを相手にする方がマシだろう。
You're gonna have to pick a side one way or another. It's impossible to be neutral. So in the end, you guys, you guys didn't say anything at all.
仕方ないか。そう思った。だが俺たちは知らなかった。ミリムが巻き起こす旋風はまだ吹き始めたばかりだったということを。
Yeah, don't play in the onsen. Oh. A little bit of fan service? Ah, that ended way too fast. I'll see you guys after the ending. So, that was episode 16 of Tensura. Lots of things happened this episode. So, let's go through the new companions first. We had Vesta join, we had Gibru and his, I guess, contingency of men join, and then we also had Sokka join, along with her small amount of royal guards, I guess you could say. I was expecting Gibru, I definitely wasn't expecting Vesta and Sokka to join as well. In Vesta's case, I guess it's nice that they now have a resident scientist, I guess you could say. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of the robotics or machinery that he was working on later within Rimuru's nation. As for Sokka, I thought it was pretty funny how female lizard men could turn into basically hot women, right? It is fan service, but again, I'm not complaining. I can't complain about that. Also, they seem to be, because they're training under Soe, so I'm assuming that they're all going to be ninjas, because that's what their character designs are modeled after as well. And, oh, speaking of which, their names is also kind of interesting. Besides Sokka, the rest of them were basically named by the 4 cardinal directions, northeast, southwest, as well as the men being spears, and the women being flowers. So, just a little, I guess, tidbit of information. So, yay, I guess. Now Rimuru's forces has grown even stronger. But there's not much else to say about here, because the real deal of this episode, I guess, would be the introduction, the formal introduction of the Demon Lords. So we get 4 Demon Lords now. We have Milim, which we see in this, which is featured prominently within this episode. We have Clayman, who we met before, and there are 2 more, Frey and Karen. And so the interesting thing about this is, actually, I went back with one of my longtime viewers' recommendations, Roka's. He told me to look at a map of the entire Tensura world, I guess you could say. And so I did, because I guess you can say it's kind of spoiler, but not at the same time. We were given small glimpses of it in the first few episodes, but never a fully shown map. It turns out that, like I mentioned last episode, the Jurafrost is located at a very interesting intersection, if you will. It's basically the buffer zone of every, well, not every single country, but a lot of different countries. Like, seriously, Jurafrost probably has the most borders with the most amount of kingdoms and so on and so forth. So that is a very strategically important position, right? Now, we throw in Milim, and then also the Demon Lord politics that they were talking about at the very end of the episode. So, these 4 Demon Lords basically have some sort of power balance, right? They each have their own little domain, about the same size, and then because they rule together, they have, not one of them has more power over the other. But now that Milim is forming, or at least in a sense, forming an alliance with Rimuru, this shakes things up quite a bit, right? First of all, again, we don't really know the personalities of the different demon lords yet. So they could be entirely scheming, they could be, just having fun. I'm not sure whether Clayman sent Milim out, or he manipulated Milim out in a way where he wanted Milim to stop Rimuru, or was this part of his plan and he knew that Milim would be friends or allied with Rimuru. Because in any case, okay, so the situation is there's these 4 Demon Lord domains, right? None of them can expand out because their borders are directly bordering to the Jura Forest. And then, as we see within this episode, they originally had a non-aggression pact with the Jura Forest because Veldor was there. So in a way, it means that they cannot grow their territory at all. They're locked, in a sense, by the Jura Forest. Well, except for Clayman, who can also go north to the Empire, but that's something else, I guess. So, in a way, this freeing out Veldora means that it's now fair game and they can also expand into the Jura Forest to expand their own territory as well. And another thing is, thinking back to Clayman's original plan, right, where he wanted to, at least he sent his subordinates, or his mercenaries, I guess, out to sort of scout for Demon Lord seeds, or potential Demon Lords, and I guess wanted in a way to make that Demon Lord the owner of the Jura Forest. Now, this leads me to believe that, again, there's different ways to look about this, right? Maybe it's the case where they want Milim off of the Demon Lord circle, if you will, because she's basically a child, right? So she is definitely different from the other 3. So maybe they're all working together in a way to try to kick her out. Or it could be all entirely masterminded by Clayman. So to give him a, I guess, proper excuse to go after Milim and then take over her territory and maybe even the Jura Forest as well. Because then he has a reasonable excuse where, because Milim is growing too powerful, so I need to take her down, or we need to take her down and then divide up her territory. So, again, this is pure speculation, because I don't think we know enough information about the Demon Lord's personalities to make these kinds of assumptions. But just based on past experience dealing with these kinds of matters, I feel like it's definitely a case where Clayman is trying to manipulate different people into different Demon Lords into fighting Rimuru to weaken them, and then swooping in and then getting the goods after both sides are exhausted. At least that seems to be what I can get from how I feel about him so far. And this is only talking about the Demon Lords, right? There's also a whole nother mix, which is in regards to the humans as well. I think it's suffice to say that humans probably aren't too happy with the Demon Lord gaining a new powerful ally or exerting their influence into the Jura Forest, which, again, acts as an important buffer zone for not just the monster kingdoms, but also the human kingdoms as well. The Empire on the east, and then the other various kingdoms on the west, they cannot meet each other without passing through the Jura Forest. So, definitely I feel like this sort of alliance with Milim is going to have consequences not only on the Demon Lord side, but also on the human side as well. Although, when that will be shown, it remains to be seen. In fact, we haven't seen a human in, like, 10 episodes? Almost 10 episodes, right? It's definitely not a human-focused series. So, also, a little bit more about Milim. So, her character, it's funny, right? And actually, I also found out, like, who her voice actor is. It's Hidaka Rina, who also voices a lot of loli characters. So that's why I was thinking her voice sounded so familiar. The Prodigy, I liked how they used Rimuru's gaze to look at her body and say, okay, yeah, she's definitely a child, but if she's a child and she has this amount of power, she's definitely a prodigy. So she's a Dragonoid. Her skill, called Milim's Eye or something, in kanji, in Japanese, it's basically Dragon Eye. I wonder if she has any specific relationship with Veldora, although I guess dragons and dragonoids might not be completely the same thing. Her power level. So this is the first time we see an enemy who is definitely stronger than Rimuru, and so judging by this episode, they say that Milim is at least 10 times stronger than Rimuru. Again, magicals might not exactly equate to power, but I think it's a good grasp. They also mentioned that Milim herself is an outlier, even within Demon Lords. So probably the other Demon Lords aren't as powerful as she is, in pure strength or power wise. But definitely, I think it's not a stretch to say that Demon Lords are at least, I don't know, 6 times more powerful than Rimuru is right now. So that I'm definitely thinking how else Rimuru is going to power up, because he's eventually going to have to face against these Demon Lords, right? So how in the future is he going to start improving his magical count and maybe letting him have an equal footing with the other Demon Lords? Otherwise, at what level he is right now, I feel like he can't really take on Demon Lords yet. And that's also part of the reason why Clayman in the past few episodes didn't seem too concerned that Rimuru was following his plans or that there was this player on the map right now, because he's still not exactly a certain threat yet. So, yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how Rimuru continues to power up. I assume it's going to involve eating stuff, right? So we're probably going to have some more different monsters or different quests, if you will, different arcs before we get into a Demon Lord fight. And speaking of fight, I was a little bit disappointed that this episode didn't show a epic battle between Milim and Rimuru, something that we can see within the opening, for example. Although I guess it could still happen in the future. One final note I have is in regards to comedic timing. I actually felt that this episode, for some reason, felt very funny. I liked their voices and reactions. This is an analysis. This is just what I think. I personally, I thought it was pretty damn funny, and that's always been a strength of the Tensura series as a whole. Watching up to now 16 episodes, it definitely incorporates a lot more humor than, say, something like Shield Hero, which goes with a more serious vibe. And I definitely see the appeal here with the humor. So yeah, I think that is about it. And it's a bit of a shorter episode, but I don't think there's really too much to talk about if we don't know a little bit more information about the Demon Lords first. Yeah, I think that about covers it. And speaking of which, I feel like the introduction of the new characters, not only the Demon Lords, but also the new companions as well. I'm thinking maybe in the original works, these events happened over a longer amount of chapters, because it felt kind of rushed for each and every single character's introduction. So I'm definitely wondering if this is something that the light novel does a little bit better because it has more time. Not that it doesn't work here. I feel like cutting out the story of how Gibaru finally met Rimuru, or how Sokka led a group of lizard men to follow Rimuru, I feel like those parts could definitely be left out, and we wouldn't miss too much about it. Although, again, because it just seems a little bit too fast, right? All of the new characters are boom, 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 coming out at the same time. So, yeah, let me know if that is indeed the case. And that about covers this episode. Again, sorry for my voice. I hope I can get it better by the next episode. I mean, I certainly hope it will. But in any case, that has been my reaction review for Tensura episode 16, and I'll see you guys next time.